The political motor is running as the Prime Minister's former pal Gitto Harry returns to help engineer his political survival. A new brains trust has also been assembled alongside Steve Barclay as enforcer and chief of staff, as Boris Johnson scrambles to change the narrative on scandals, rebels and a mass exodus at number 10. Cabinet ministers battered back questions of a civil war today. Do disloyal cabinet members ever get to be leaders? And pressed MPs to give the Prime Minister more time.
The Prime Minister has been very clear that he wants a reset in number 10. He was very clear speaking to Conservative MPs on Monday. And what we saw last week was him following through with that commitment. Look, I think there's feverish speculation about the number of letters. I lived through 2018 as a minister. There was lots of talk about letters. I don't think anybody has a clue, frankly.
But rumours suggest the number could be ticking uncomfortably close to the 54 needed to trigger a vote of no confidence.
In a situation where our enemies are laughing at Boris Johnson, where our allies despair of Boris Johnson, where much of the country is ashamed of Boris Johnson, he should step down, he should resign.
Harry worked for Johnson when he was mayor, but was deeply critical of his move to back Brexit. In 2019, he came on this show and talked about his love-hate relationship with his former boss.
I disagreed with him on Brexit, which is a policy disagreement, and there were a few things he did about a year ago that were deeply offensive, I thought, in terms of language.
Sound familiar?
But he is a man who's comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't pretend to be something he's not.
The surprise announcement was met quickly with a scathing Cummings tweet that claimed number 10 insiders had condemned Harry as a pro-Remain lobbyist, who said the Prime Minister is sexually incontinent, hugely divisive, destructive and dragging the country down. Within a few hours, there was a riposte from the new communications boss, a link to one of his own articles predicting Cummings' downfall. Harry's had a colourful career. He had a brief turn on GB News before he was suspended for taking the knee. And he's still named as a board member for the PR firm founded by Ben Elliott, the Tory party co-chairman. The weekend's other appointee, Steve Barclay, will now manage a new office of the Prime Minister, alongside his other jobs.
It doesn't seem to me sustainable that you can have someone who's both an MP, Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, and Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister. That's too much for one person. So it does look as if the Prime Minister is essentially winging it.
What is the risk if people are unhappy with the Prime Minister that you don't get that critical 54?
We are seeing high inflation, living standards falling. That is precisely the backdrop in which the country is likely to be quite angry with the government anyway. Add the particular circumstances that we face at the moment. It's a pretty toxic situation. I think now is the time to act.
This week, Johnson will be looking to emphasise policy announcements over questions of culture. But with Cummings promising yet more revelations and a new book critics pan as sexist, accusing the Prime Minister's wife of exerting too much control, divisions remain rife and Johnson's position still precarious.